Hello, beautiful people. How we doing, Scab?
Doing good, man. You doing all right?
Hanging in there, buddy. Hanging in there.
There we go. There we
Yeah.
go. Doing good, man. You doing
Well,
all
let me
right?
mute that. My bad. Yeah, I had a long weekend. We went up to Gatlinburg, and I got to go to the Smoky Mountain Knife Works Fall Fest. That was pretty cool. I mean, it's
No,
not Black Show or anything, but it was still fun.
I've never been. I want to go. So
It's a
I've
big
heard
place.
all kind. Who owns that? Do you know who owns that?
I've no idea,
Is it
man.
Mr. Rose?
They got a bunch of knives. I don't know. You know, they've got a lot of junk, to be honest. But then they've got all the high end stuff too. I did a short. I think that the most, and I'm sure there was something more expensive, but the most expensive knife I saw was a $3,800 Marfion Custom. So they got
Yeah.
that all the way down to a $3 piece of junk down on the lower floors. It's pretty interesting.
Is that how they do it?
Yeah, they they kind of trick you though. They kind of mix some of the cheaper stuff in. Like if you're going from the Benchmade booth over to
Yeah.
the Spyderco section, you're gonna pass some off-brand stuff too. But then they got kind of like a bargain basement, man. It's got all the Mall Ninja, Zombie Apocalypse stuff, and you know they've even got Civil War uh, memorabilia. They've got bullets that they've recovered from Gettysburg, just all kind of weird stuff to go along with the knives. But
Now,
it's a fun trip.
is that pretty close to Maryville, Tennessee?
I'm not sure. It's in Pigeon Forge. I think it may be because I just got a package from uh, Brandon Maples, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure. Let me look right here, but actually, I got it right here. Pretty sure he was in. Nope, I'm sorry. He's in Greenback, Tennessee, but he said he wasn't far from there.
Okay. Okay. Well, the only reason I ask is I know that Rosecraft is putting in a factory in Maryville to put
Okay.
their knives together. Um, but I thought, and I might be wrong, I thought there was a connection there with the guy who owns Rosecraft and the guy who owns Smoky Mountain. Could be 100% way off base. I was just curious. I know I've never been. I'm going to try to make it up this winter.
Right.
And I'm going to Blade Show for sure. If I got to walk to that son bitch.
Yeah, but Blade Show's a lot of fun, man, and I know everybody's tired of hearing this. You'll spend a couple of hours, uh, gawking over the knives, but the people you meet,
Yeah.
people that you've talked to but you've never met, and they'll come up, man. It turns into a huge social gathering. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's I know I talked to Vic Lynn, the owner of Work Tough Gear. He's going to be there. So I'm definitely wanting to go, man. And there's going to be a lot of guys there's a lot of guys with Work Tough Gear and with Carnivora. They use a lot of the designers for Work Tough Gear designed for Carnivora. So there's
Right.
going to be there's going to be a big gathering there. And I want to meet you and I want to meet everybody. I just want to go. Honestly, and I say this 100%, I could give a shit about the knives. I want to go and meet at least this first time. I'll definitely look. I'll definitely, I might get something. But
Yeah.
going to hang out and meet people and do all that's what this first one's about for me
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah. They don't fall into that trap though, because I know a lot of folks. They start to get some subscribers. These companies reach out and ask you if you want to work a booth.
No,
Nine times out of it, you're stuck to that booth all weekend long. They
no,
don't
they got
leave
me
you.
mixed up. Now I may hide at a booth.
Yeah.
I may sit my fat ass down at a booth.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to meet people. I want to meet the folks I want to meet, Vic's been good to me, man. That dude's been real good to me. So I want to meet him and I want to meet Don and I want to meet, I just want to kind of walk around and meet folks and see. Like I said, the knives are great. That's awesome, and I'm sure I'll look. But
Right.
man, I want to meet people, hang out, get some barbecue, do all that stuff. So we'll do all that. It'll be fun.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It's like I was telling said Stevie today. A lot of folks have asked what I got while I was at Smoky Mountain Knife Works, and I didn't buy myself anything.
Right.
And I didn't leave there feeling bad about it. I just I'm real content right this minute with what I have. I am looking forward to that 15V Mannix. I don't know if I have the money when it drops, but I'm a steel nerd, so I kind of want that. But and I have been Scab. I've been more blessed in the past 2 weeks. I've been gifted. I'll show this one as an example. I borrow a good bit of knives from Mr. Sawtooth Dave, and he loans me a lot of stuff that I would never have the chance to experience. And this is a Clark Customs Banto. This is one of five. Five. It's all they ever made.
Really?
All five of them are finished different. So it's actually a one of one. And he loaned it to me to review, and I messaged him, told him, how much I appreciate and how much I like the knife. Mine and his taste in knives is a little bit different.
Yeah.
He loves really, really big, overbuilt, heavy duty. And I appreciate that stuff, but I don't carry it.
Yeah.
And he just messaged me and told me it was mine.
That's awesome.
Mr. Brandon Maples just sent me my first TRM Atom. I've been wanting that knife for a long time, and I'm on a fixed income, and nice knives don't come very often for me, and he was nice enough to gift me that. And I purchased a knife from Chaz. Chaz likes sharp stuff. He's in the comment section a lot. Purchased a knife from him, and when I opened it, there was two knives in there. He sent me the knife that I bought and gifted me one. So man, I've just been more than blessed. Sometimes I feel guilty about it, but I don't want or need for anything right now. That's for sure.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing, and I've just kind of learned this in life. If somebody wants to give you something, don't take that from them. Don't take that joy of them giving you. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the same boat you are, man. I've been gifted stuff. It's just like, holy smokes. You know what I'm saying? It's my dog. I wish I could gift this dog to somebody, but it's just a blessing, man. And being able to give knives. And I try not to say anything when I don't make a big deal out about giving something away. I don't want to do that. But, I've just got to a point where, you know what? If somebody gives it, man, I appreciate it. And I do. And I'll say this on your show because I've said it on if someone gives me a knife, I do not sell it. I do not trade it. I don't get rid of it. It's a gift, and I know there's other people, and I know that folks wouldn't care, I guess, but for me, it's like you went out of your way to give it. Right. And I'll tell you the truth, man. Sawtooth's one of my favorite YouTubers.
He's such a good dude, man.
Yeah. I grew up around guys like that. You know what I'm saying, on bikes and tool and die guys, and he's just my kind of people. I like his videos, and I like your videos because it's different. You guys have taken, especially like with you've taken something. How does the knife make you feel? Hey, Tucker, how does the knife make you feel? And that's not easy to do, because I've tried to do that a time or two, where I've said I'm gonna pull a Shane and tell you how it makes me feel. And when you actually sit there and think about how a knife makes you feel, that's not an easy. So you've picked kind of a cool niche to go down that road. And then Sawtooth, he just kind of tells it like it is, but he doesn't tell it like it is being an asshole.
Right.
Says what he feels, very respectful about it. Love it.
Hard, Scab, is I could do a video a day.
Yeah.
On specs and do the typical knife review. I could do one of those a day.
Yeah.
But I don't particularly care for those. And there are people out there that do such a wonderful job at that I would never be able to meet that. There's no point in me doing it because there's
Right.
way better content out there for that. So literally, I'm not making excuses, but the reason you might see me go, I might post a video every 4 or 5 days. It might be 2 weeks, but that's because I'm having to wait on that emotion. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Having to wait
Yep.
on that feeling and be like, man, I want to share this. I want to tell people, how I feel about this. And so it kind of hurts me in the algorithm, that I'm not posting as often as I should, but I'm just not going to mash the record button and record something senseless that don't mean anything to me because I can tell they don't get many views. The excitement in my voice is not there, and it's
That
just not for me. But
well, and here's the deal, man. I was just telling somebody that yesterday. As a matter of fact, I've done some videos that were just like, it's okay,
yeah,
but I had high energy and I get more response on those videos. And I had one video that I did, and the content was good, but man, I was wore out when I went to narrate it.
yeah,
And it was like that. And I had people messaging me going, dude, if you don't like the knife, don't. And I'm like, so I understand where you're coming from with that emotion. And
yeah.
it's got to hit you right.
Oh
It's
yeah,
got to hit you, and you got to hit it when it hits you, you know, and like you and I were talking about before the live, you got shorts that'll help you with the algorithm.
yeah.
Use your shorts, do that, and then keep doing what you're doing because I haven't seen anybody else do it the way you do it, to be honest with you.
I want to do another shout out, Scab. This will be a good piece of information for you too. Um, uh, after the passing of Jason Brown, come to find out, Jason was really, really close with Bill. Most people know him as Pro X 1840 on here, and I don't know how it came about, but at some point they got in a conversation about Bill liked to tinker with knives,
Yeah.
and Bill, like many of us, was kind of struggling a little bit, dealing with some depression and whatnot. And Jason helped him through that. And one of the last kind things in a list 10 miles long of kind things Jason Brown did was he actually purchased Bill some tools and equipment to mod knives with. Well, uh, some of the guys in the community started reaching out to Bill and wanted to send me knives to have him do some mods and make some scales, things like that. And I heard them talking it up. And I'm just going to be completely honest here. I assumed they were talking it up because they wanted to make Bill feel good. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I saw the work, and pictures don't, they just don't translate good quality work. I'd seen it, and so I thought, well, I'll send him one too. Just give him something to do. And Scab, what I got back was absolutely mind blowing, man. This knife has been sitting in my knife box for 2 years, and I've never carried it. It was a Smoky Mountain Knife Works exclusive artisan tradition, and it had copper scales. It was so heavy and cumbersome that it wasn't worth carrying.
Right.
So I sent it to Bill, and once again, you guys aren't going to be able to see it on here, but he custom made my carded scales. I had reached out to artisans to try to buy some cheap G10 scales so I could use this knife. They just weren't out there. This knife's not popular enough for scale companies to make them.
Right.
But Bill custom made them. I'm not going to tell you what he charged me because I think he's still in that phase where he's trying to get more experience under his belt. But it wasn't near enough money.
Right.
But I'll tell you this: it was a whole lot less than what you can buy a set of custom mic art scales.
Well,
And I'm sorry, production mic art scales. He had to
didn't
custom
he?
make them. Not only did he do that, this thing also had a brass backspacer and a copper back. And I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
Man, he polished this thing up like it's a piece of gold.
Yeah, you
He
can see that.
he anodized my hardware and made me a brass pivot ring to match and cut a detent ramp into the blade so that you get that old lefty EDC drop shut action. It's just mind blowing. And the only reason I wanted to shout that out is because I think he's already getting enough work where he's getting behind a week or so. But you
Yeah.
guys keep him in mind, especially if you've got something that you can't just jump on Etsy and buy scales for.
Well,
Probex 1840 may be your man. I've got his email address. He don't do social media. Several of us have his email address. So if you're interested, reach out to me. I'll get you his email address. You can get in touch with him. But I know you done a lot of fixed blades, and fixed blades would probably be even easier for him to make scales. To be honest with you. So
well, do me a favor, man. Send me his name. Like when we're done, text me his name, and I'll do some shout outs. Cause I mean, I get people asking me a lot, and it's like, I want to, if we can give him some work, if it'll help out. And I don't mean that like a handout thing. I mean, like we need somebody good, like you're saying, because when somebody asks you, you don't want to send somebody to this guy's okay. They're not asking you for okay.
You're right.
So if you'll send me his stuff, I'll gladly shout him out, man.
Yeah. That's just like, I sharpen all my knives. I love to sharpen knives, but I don't have a sharpening service simply because, well, I'll just be honest with you. I've got a couple of knives here now that not thinking, I laid the edge back so far that the slurry that I built actually scratched the blade.
Really?
So there's issues like that. That's why I don't do it for the public, but we've got guys. That's a beautiful thing that we've got people in our community, man, that can do almost anything.
Yeah.
We've got guys like Kyle Kuhnel, he's a mod of my channel. That has a sharpening service. Blades and Fades. He's got a sharpener. Both of those guys' books are open. Jared Neve's books are closed for months.
Yeah.
The knife sharpened by, and I'm not taking anything from Jared, but he can't take on any more work right now. But there's so many people out there that can do amazing work for us. And of course, we can't forget knife modders. If you really want some high end crazy stuff done, they're there.
Well, send me a list of those guys, man, because I'll shout out. I like shouting people out. Like I said, that'll help. I'll be glad to do it. And my whole thing, I'll tell you the truth, brother. I love folders, got a million of them, but I keep getting sent, like I got a box in yesterday from Alpha Knives, Damon Lusky up in Georgia. And they're all, and Tucker has decided just to lay on me, but I've got one I wanted to show y'all. Watch out, Bubba. This one, I'm big into pocket fixed blades because of work.
Right.
But that's one that Damon did. He's out of Georgia. It's Alpha ALFA Knives.
Yeah.
And I think I've got some on Instagram, but things like this, I want to help. And I've never been big into, my whole thing is this: when it comes to American workers, American sharpeners, knife modders, knife makers, if we can help them out, let's help them out. Send them to work. They're here. He sells exclusively through Old Town Cutlery. And actually, I think he had a knife that won on what's that show, Knife or Death? You know that show, Knife or Death?
Yeah, I've heard of that.
One of his knives actually was used by a winner. So if we can help people, man, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, I would like to get into reviewing some more fixed blades. I don't have enough, but I've definitely gotten more interested in them, and I feel like there's going to be a point in my life where I may even be restricted to fixed blades. If I just say this, if my condition worsens in the next 5 years like it has the past 5 years, folders are going to be tough for me. I'm really getting more interested in fixed blades, especially EDCable pocket, smaller fixed blades. I just purchased my first Bradford Guardian 3 in Rex 45, and I absolutely love that thing. I don't want to say I'm not a huge fan of the sheath, because the sheath is extremely high quality, but it would almost take like a dress belt to fit in it.
Brother,
you can't get a 2-inch leather belt in it.
You're not the only one. I just did a Guardian 5. I think it was a 5 or 5.5. And I think Patriot Leatherworks did the sheath because the Bradford sheath sucked. And I hate knocking it, but there's a lot of guys who do amazing work on knives, amazing work. And then you get to the sheath and it's like, I get it. You're focused on the knife, but but you're not the only one that's come up with Bradford. And if you need some fixed blades, man, we don't worry about that. We'll handle that. I'll send you all you can do. But that's what I'm saying. We do what we can, we find ourselves going down this road. And before you know it, you're known as a fixed blade guy, or you're known as a folder guy, or you're known as this and that. And that's fine. But I like all knives, anything. We do that thing with Carnivora where they're making fantasy functional. And they do really well on shorts, but I catch hell from folks. And I've said this before. The one thing that I would encourage any content creator to do, whether you like the shorts or not, is do a few, because it gets you out there beyond the safety net of the community.
Right. You're right there.
I've been called fat in every language across the world and on all 7. And that,
I know the feeling when you get outside this safety net, people can get a little mean.
Buddy, when you and I don't respond well. I've said that many times and people just have to forgive it. Yeah. But I did good today. I think I wished death on 2 or 3 people. That was it. So I'm learning. But but here's what it's done for me. I've always said, oh, I'm thick skinned and all that. You don't know how thick a skin you need until you get out. Because this community, even when there's little riffs and tiffs and things, it's still a community.
Yeah.
There's still a certain level of respect there. Man, when you get out of this thing, you open game, son.
Yeah.
But I do encourage it because it we all need a little of that.
Yeah.
And it makes you appreciative for what we have in this community. It really does. It really does.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. Let's look right here. Do you ever talk to people in the chat?
I try to, but I'm horrible at it. I'll explain my setup. I've got my phone right here in front of me, and I try to mount it up high enough where I can see the chat on the TV behind me.
Okay.
But it seems like every time I do look, it's all that's up there, or where they're having communications with or conversations with each other, and I love that because I do that too.
Yeah.
But it is tough. I think a couple of times I've tried to do a pocket check and might have gotten 1 or 2 in. I just can't keep up, man.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I've noticed I used to hate lives. Despise them. And then I started figuring out the lives really, like if you've got something important to say, don't do it on a live. Because 1, nobody's paying attention. Right. 2, everybody's talking to everybody. And 3, I get so scatterbrained with the chat, trying to keep up with the chat and trying to keep, and it's like, but I think it's cool. You got a good house, and we got some rock stars, Sid, Stevie, Grateful Panic.
Yeah.
Charles Jones, Gerbs, G-Ball, Miss Stacy, John. We've got quite the few in here. Kyle.
Hey, Kyle, if you could put up G-Ball's link. I know he's got a brand new channel that he's working on, and we've got Gons just started a channel. So we got a lot of folks with new up and coming channels that we need to promote. So,
well, this is the way I look at it. And for you guys who don't follow the channel, it's Choir Boys Cutlery Outdoors, CCO. If you have a channel, go to one of my videos and say, Scab, I got a channel, check it out. I know people get weird about that. I don't. I would rather you say, hey man, I got a channel, because what happens is people will come and comment, and Shane, you and I talk some throughout. I'll work. I'll leave. I'll be up in the morning at 4:30. I'm out the door. I don't get home till 6:30, and I work on videos. As much as I want, I support people by my community page, shouting them out, and on the videos. And then I'll shotgun like say tomorrow morning on the way to work, I'll come across your channel or Sawtooth's and I'll shotgun it that way. But guys, if you got a channel, G-Ball, go to Choir Boys Cutler Outdoors and just say, Scab, I got a channel. I'd rather that way I'll know, because I try to do 3 or 4 shout outs a video. I really do.
Yeah.
Because I think everything.
I got several subs off your shout out for me. So it does work, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Well, that's what we're here for. I mean, the knives are great. The community is awesome. And we need to, we look out for one another. I want everybody to start a channel. Do you know how many amazing knives are out there? How many different takes we could get, That's the way I look at it. Man, there's guys with knives that I will never own, but I love looking at.
Yeah.
Like you said, Sawtooth Dave. Sawtooth has a lot of knives, man, that I'm like, damn. Yeah. But I'd never see him without him, Show that knife you got gifted by him again.
It's the Clark Customs Banto. He don't make this knife anymore. He only made 5 of them. It's in CTS XHP. It's got a heavily textured titanium handle. I'm assuming it's on bearings, because it's silky smooth, man. It's a really nice knife. And just like you said, I would have never experienced this knife, much less own this knife, if it weren't for Dave. Said Stevie brought up a very good point there too, man. Our boy Javon has got a channel, and he's had a channel for a while. Javon used to just post some skateboarding stuff, which is amazing, because Javon's about my age and he's still out there kicking it on a skateboard. That's I couldn't imagine falling off a skateboard at my age, but Javon's still doing it. But he's been in the knife community for a good while. Javon's been super good to me, man. The first time I met that guy, we had lunch together in Huntsville, Alabama. Hour later, I was driving home, trying to add up in my head this knife roll that he had loaned me. It had to be close to $2,000. Literally, the first time I met the guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those knives to help me get my channel off the ground, because I didn't have enough knives to review.
Right.
I just kept thinking to myself, who does that?
Right.
So you guys
in this community
on some love. He's putting out some good content. He's always put out great shorts. He's got his knife flicking shorts on YouTube and Instagram, and
he also drives with them, and nobody ever says shit about him. I show one knife driving, and you'd think I'd be in the pen, dude. It wears me, and I love Javon. Javon, I love you, but I could be sitting in a parking lot and show one. I get, man, you can't. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
I'm working on that app where I can hit people through the phone. If I ever get it, I'll be a billionaire. I promise you. But man, if you ever need knives, look here. And this is the truth. This I was telling somebody, and somebody was arguing. They were like, well, you work hard. Well, I'm blessed. And JR, who, if you watch my channel, you know who JR is. He's a guy in the community, man. He just sent me 5 alpha knives. The one I showed you, and 4 more, and I put shorts on, all custom made. He took one camping with him. The rest he shipped directly to me. He'll take the Bark River tracker that I'm doing tomorrow. He bought it and sent it to me.
Yeah.
Nobody does that. Captain Electro, shout out to him. I'm trying to find it. I sent you this knife that Cap loaned me, if I can find it. Here it is. Captain Electro gifted me this Medford Praetorian T.
That is a top of the line Praetorian T.
In S90V.
Yeah.
gifted because he said he felt like I needed a Medford. I can't, dude, you can't repay that.
You're right.
I can't, there's nothing that I mean, there's nothing that I can do for that guy other than some shout outs. And it's one of the few times, and I'll get emotional in a hurry, but it's one of the few times I had to turn it off. I started crying.
Yeah.
That's just the way the community is.
Well, I know the feeling, man. It took me a couple of tries to, to film the video on this Banto that Satu gave me. And yeah, but it does leave you with that feeling of, how do I ever thank this guy, for something like this? It's amazing. There's some amazing people in this community, and I just touched on a few. There's several more over there that I could talk about that I've been gifted. Just about everybody in here knows uh, Jake, and Jake had listened to a video that I put out. No, I'm sorry, Jake had just read a comment that I'd made. I had a little conversation about owning a TR4 auto, and I had to get rid of it because I didn't feel safe opening it. My hands had gotten to a point where I didn't feel like I could even hold on to it. Well, luckily, when I started out on my journey trying to learn how to spotty flick, that repetitive motion built up some dexterity and strength back in my hands. And I'd mentioned, that now I regretted getting rid of that knife because I could probably, I probably could hold it now.
Yeah.
A week later, it's in my mailbox.
Yeah.
And guys, this isn't a knife that he had and no longer wanted. He purchased that knife and had it shipped to me. I mean, it's mind blowing the stuff people in this community do, man. And like you said, these will be handed down through generations because they're never going anywhere. I could get rid of all the stuff I've bought and still have a very nice collection of knives that mean way more to me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, there's several guys in the chat, and Rusty Knife Lover just walked in. Rusty is known for sending out boxes of knives. I mean, we could make one show of nothing but community, and that's the way maybe it should be, I think, because without community, we're not, you know what I'm saying? It's a long, like you said, having knives to review. And I've had a lot of people, man, I'd love to do it, but I don't have the knives to review. And I'm like, just start the channel. I will make sure you got knives. If you want to do it, if you got something you can add, or you just want to have fun, you ain't got to worry about knives. We'll get you knives. And I think I don't know of any major issues with it. I'm sure there's one here and there. But for the most part, man, this thing is just an awesome, fantastic community that gives. And we see it every time there's a need. And that's the way it should be.
I just said Chaz is in here in the comments. I wanted to say, man, that video that you put on Instagram today, I don't know how you turned those leaves purple and all that, but man, that was a beautiful, beautiful video you posted today, man. I wish I knew how to manipulate and edit, but I don't know how to do it yet. But I get jealous when I see some of these guys' content, man. It's just incredible.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys who do very, very well. I turn on my phone and that's about what you get.
Yeah, you're right there.
But I mean, that's why I got Joe. Joe puts on, and that's Steel Forged and Fire Sword and Knife. Joe puts on movie quality shit, dude. But that's what he does. He films those huge New York weddings. Dude, when he come down here last February, Shane, he brought probably $15,000 of recording equipment. I mean, I was like, dude, what? He goes, well, it's got to be set up right. I'm like, he said, I said, turn on this phone, and that's what we do. I do everything off my phone. everything except Alive. I use the laptop, but everything else, Charles Jones said Joe is an artiste. That's to say the least. To say the least. But there's a lot of guys. Matthew Jensen, a sword guy. What I've found and what I've seen is a lot of times, a lot of the guys in the community start out knives loving, and they always love knives, but they kind of jump into more of a cinematographic deal, and that becomes a fascination as well. And that's cool. I haven't hit that level yet. As long as my phone works, I'm in good shape.
Right.
Because I can't.
And I'm literally, I do everything off of a $50 cricket phone. Kyle likes to give me a hard time about it being an old jitterbug, but but yeah, this was the the $50 upgrade and get it free Motorola at Cricket. But I don't have any issues with. I'm happy with my with the video quality because it works for me. So
that's all that matters, man. That's what I try to tell people. Don't do something that's not you. Don't do something that do you. I take a little bit of everybody. I ain't gonna lie, I steal all kind of shit from people. I don't care. Yeah. But I also try to, if somebody asks me, hey, what do you think about this? Try to help. But I mean, if you got your own way, like I said, and I'll say it again, the thing that you do with how a knife makes you feel, that's unique. And that's not easy. That's not easy. Because you can go, and I've had thoughts like this particular knife here is the Billy Waugh demo. Now, this is made by Lion Steel. DJ Horn puts them together for anybody that doesn't know. Robert Young Pelton, Bill Harsey teamed up and they got with Billy Waugh. And if you don't know who Billy Waugh is, he's the baddest man. He was the oldest CIA paramilitary dude ever in combat. They dropped Billy Waugh in 2001 at 70 years old in Afghanistan to fight.
I remember that.
He did, and they went to him and they said, if you were stuck behind enemy lines, what knife would you design? And he and Bill Harsey and Robert Young Pelton come up. But this knife evokes all kind of emotion. But Shane, my point is, I could not make a video telling you how this knife made me feel. They gave this to me. DJ Horn sent me one to review, and Miss Claire, who's owns Strike HQ where you buy them, said, would you like one for your own to play with? It's a 500. I said, yeah. She made sure I got number 22. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that I could tell you about the knife, but to come up with a whole video like you do, because if I said anything, it would all get misinterpreted to, oh, Scab thinks he's a badass. Well, no, I'm trying to tell you about the damn knife. Right. So I think you got a unique niche, is what I'm saying.
That is a fine line, because there are knives that make me feel like I wish a motherfucker would. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
When I carry my Adamas or my Yo Jumbo, that there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with an inanimate object giving you some confidence. What I actually use it for, to open Amazon boxes and cut a string off of a shirt. but
hey, if it makes you feel, but my thing is, for any of you guys who want to start a channel, man, we'll support you. Charles Jones, I just seen Charles Jones, the Redneck Nerd, has a channel that he started, and he has fun and he loves knives, and you can see that in his reviews.
Yeah.
That's what it should be about, man. There's so many great channels. There's channels, dude. What I love is, like, you come from a different community. I'm in a different little community. But there's so many communities across the world, really, that we don't even know about.
Right. Yeah. So Stevie and I were talking about that today. I've tried, when we started the Knives Live thing, when me and Grateful Panic, and guys, when I tell you that we brainstormed till the sun came up, we were on the phone for hours that night. And my first thought was, what I really wanted to do was cross promote these YouTube channels with Facebook, because there are some huge Facebook knife groups. So with every group that we could, because some of them would just straight yank your stuff down if you promote anything. But with everybody we could, and I don't, if we got any viewers off of it, it was minuscule, because I don't know why, but the seems like the Facebook knife world they don't have any desire to mingle with us.
Yeah.
And, but if we could, it would be huge because there's so many of them. I know everybody in here is probably in a Facebook knife group. But I'm just talking about the masses. They just don't. You just can't get them to come over for some reason. Maybe they just don't do YouTube. I don't know, but you're right. There's also, once again, me and said Steve was talking about that today. There's channels out there that you can go to, and whether it's a live or a video, if you look in the comment section, you won't recognize any of the names.
Right.
But what that tells you is, there's tens of thousands of other people out there watching knife content that we don't know, that don't know us. The possibilities are endless. It's just to how to cross those lines. I don't think any of us have completely figured out yet.
No.
I feel real fortunate for Knives Live this year. I wanted to concentrate on adding a few channels that weren't on last year, and some channels that have viewers that aren't necessarily in our small community. And the first one I wanted to add was you. I know you've got a lot of viewers that haven't even heard of a lot of our channels.
Right.
So we got you. We've got Wayne's World just added. Wayne's got a big channel. We've got Kaylee from Carry Every Day. She just started a channel. It's already, I don't know, last time I looked, I think she was at 5,000-6,000 subs, something like that. Yeah. She was huge on Instagram.
Yeah.
She's got a whole following that have probably never heard of Shane Gable's OLE SCAB.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping with Knives Live, that some of her people and some of your people will see said Stevie stuff, and some of her people will see Matisfaction stuff, and maybe some of them hang around.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. There's a huge. I found out today. Would you stop? I found out today. Now the little ones joined us too. Hey, Lola. Found out today that Poland has a massive bushcraft community and a huge consortium of knife makers.
Right.
Getting into that, and that's part of where like the shorts come in. It's not just people think with me it's just subscribe. It's not just subscribers. It's getting into different areas, different countries, Australia, New Zealand. I have subscribers from them just like you guys do. We got them from all over the world. I'm huge in Ho Chi Minh City, which is odd, but the deal is to get knife lovers, bushcraft people, that whole Fatwood Friday community. I bet you there's 90% of the folks in the knife world don't know about the Light or Not, the Fatwood Fires. That's one of the most peaceful, loving communities you could be a part of, that we've crossed over with, that I absolutely love. And basically what they do, Shane, is they find fat wood, or we call it Light or Not down here, or fat lighter. And every Friday they do a fire. They'll dedicate it to folks. They'll do different things, but they're some of the most loving, welcoming people. And hopefully we can start reaching across and bringing people in, because I seen a channel the other day. I can't remember the name. That's good. But they had like 70 or 80,000 subs. I'm like, it was the first time I'd seen them, and that guy had pretty good content.
Yeah.
So it's cool. They don't have the dogs. Hey, Tucker.
I think everybody within our small little circle, I don't know if he hears this or not, because we don't necessarily talk about it in front of him that much, but all of us are now connected, and nearly all of us owe that to Grateful Panic. Mm-hmm. Grateful Panic started doing his little Tuesday night shenanigans. He'd come on at 10 o'clock. Man, there was times that thing is shut down at 3 a.m. And I can't remember a single knife we talked about, but it brought all these people together. I don't know how many channels have started, just out of people that were, that you should just hang out in his comment section. But I've got more friends now than I can count, and if you back up far enough, the majority of those started with Grateful Panic. He was really the first one to do knife based content, but that was about 5% of it, to be honest. It was really more lean towards just a sounding board, a place you could go and talk and make friends. And we all owe Grateful Panic a huge debt of gratitude for that. I wouldn't know Said Stevie. I wouldn't know Mattisfaction. I wouldn't know Patina Turner. I wouldn't know John. I wouldn't know any of these people
Right.
if it weren't for Grateful Panic. And I love that it started out as knife content and he turned it into something completely different.
Yeah.
If there are other channels that do that now, and if there was somebody doing it before him, I didn't know about it. I'll say that.
Right. Well, I didn't know, and I'll be honest, I've always loved knives, but Advanced Knife Bro. I've always liked Mark. I've always liked his content. I love that dude. He was one of the first guys I started watching. And I was at work one day with Kirk, and some people have seen Kirk on my channel. He's the guy that got me in and started really explaining. I've always loved knives, but Kirk made sense of it to me. And we're sitting there one day, and I come across D-Bad, Donnie B. All Day, reviewing a 1917 Cold Steel Bowie. And I thought, and it was the first guy I'd seen that was excited about actually using the knife. And I thought, I can do that. You know what I'm saying? Because I thought about doing some and the thing is this, like with the way it said Stevie, Mattisfaction, all of you guys do reviews. That's not easy. People like to bring in this user and tabletop. Let me tell you something. Tabletop reviews is a skill, and it's a skill I don't have. I'm telling you right now, I don't have the knife acumen. It's just, I watch some of these guys in amazement, quit, Ola. But we all bring something to the table. All bring something different.
That was Said Stevie. He said you're full of shit. You're not 69 years old. He's had me convinced for a month that he's 69. I've talked to him on the phone. Now, there's no way that guy's almost 70 years old. And it sounds like he's in his 30s. Yeah.
He may just talk young.
Yeah, I can't tell you the last night I watched Mattisfaction review. And this may sound harsh, but I don't care what Mattisfaction is reviewing.
Right.
I don't watch Matt for knife reviews. Not that I don't care what he has to say about knives. It's just I just want to hear what's going to come out of that man's mouth next, or what he's going to slip onto his fingers next, or just whatever. He's just a great personality. And I watch for his personality. I don't care about the knives, and there's a lot of people that way, and then there's a lot that I watch just purely, to get information about knives. Cause I don't know if this is how everybody started, but I got into bug out bags. I like the idea of being prepared. I've been in some situations in my life where, a couple of key tools could have really been a difference in how a situation turned out. And, no, I don't believe we're going to have a zombie apocalypse. I also know in my health, I'm in no shape to walk 50 miles into the woods and start building a log cabin and hunt deer and smoke meat. I'm not going to be able to do that. But the bug out bag thing was a hobby for me. It was something fun because, I started researching everything I thought about putting in that bag. I researched, to find out what the best bang for my buck was going to be, what was going to work the best that I could afford. Well, then I got to the knife. And that was a mistake. And I dove down that rabbit hole to find out what the best knife was.
Yeah.
That one and done. Well, with bug out bags, one is none. So you gotta have two. But what are those two knives I'm gonna need that are gonna last me forever? Of course, that is almost always fixed blades. But once I dove down that knife rabbit hole, man, it all started with me not searching channels, but searching. Like I would hear a guy mention a particular knife. So I'd type that in on YouTube and I'd watch every channel I could find and listen to them talk about that knife, and I haven't watched cable television since. This is what I do. I
Yeah.
watch YouTube, but now I don't watch it necessarily so much for the knife reviews. I feel guilty sometimes because I can't consume all the content that all my friends put out. There's too much. But I'm really more interested in personalities and people's backstories and what they're going through. Right now, what they've gone through in the past. It's I don't even know how to explain it, man. People on the outside don't get it, but I realize we've made it 41 minutes and we haven't communicated with the chat at all.
Well, I hollered at him one time. It's
Yeah.
about, we've been on for 51 minutes and 19 seconds, which has got to be a record for not, and they've had a good time. So we're doing okay.
Oh yeah. They're talking amongst themselves. Somebody's planning a siege at Mattis Paxton's house. I don't know what's up with that. I don't know who would want to go to his house with pitchforks and burning brooms, but I have to look into that later.
Hey, so here's the deal. What you got coming up?
I've got plenty of stuff here to review. I was just thinking about that today, that I've got so many knives that I haven't reviewed. I don't know why. Like I said, the passion just hasn't hit me. Lately I've been all about, the same knife for a few weeks now, to be honest with you. I know you guys are sick of hearing about it, but I've been all about my American Blade Works Model 1 version 6. And I'm not just excited because it's a knife. I'm excited because I was in the middle of a huge change for Mr. Martin. Michael Martin owns American Blade Works. For those of you don't know, it's just Michael. His daughter helps him with some packaging. His wife's about to quit her full-time job to start helping him because the company's really growing. But I purchased that knife at Blade Show, and I've been very hesitant about telling this story because I don't want to start a firestorm of any kind. But long story short, Brian at Transparent Knives was very interested in it, wanted to check it out. So I sent it to him. And while he had it, I said, hey, if you want to, you can go ahead and HRC test it. It was in 20 CV, and it was bad. It was really bad. Not bad like the guy just chose a bad recipe, but bad like something went horribly wrong. So I reached out to him, and man, he was just, he was super nice about it, super apologetic. Told me he'd replace the blade. Well, and I'll be honest, guys, I was without my knife for 3-4 months, which is entirely too long. It's entirely too long for a production company. But the issue was the reason he didn't ship me another blade is because he cared enough to find out why I got a blade that was like that. So he spent a lot of time, researching his heat treat, trying to figure out what happened, and he eventually settled on switching from 20 CV because he had batches that he was heat treating the exact same way, coming out with different results. I'm not saying that Crucible was at fault, but he was just at a loss, so he just decided to switch steels. He switched to MagnaCut, and apparently there were some things about heat treating MagnaCut to where everybody wants it that was a little over his head. So he reached out to Peters. They agreed to start doing his heat treats, and now everything he's making in MagnaCut at 63 to 64 HRC, and it is amazing. absolutely amazing. And I'm not taking any credit for that, but it was my bad blade that led to all that. So I'm shouting his name from the mountaintops, man. He's a super nice guy. He's been a machinist for 30 years. He's currently purchasing 2 more CNC mills to be able to make more knives. He's about to release the Model 2, which is a really cool Warncliffe. Those should be coming out in December. I've been talking a lot with him. I really want to go up and visit him. He's in the southern part of North Carolina, so it wouldn't be too bad a drive. So I'd like to go up and visit with him and see his shop and stuff. But other than that, the main thing I got coming up is Knives Live. That's going to be on November 4th and 5th. But just prior to that, just to make sure everybody remembers, the EDC Roundtable raffle is going to happen. I apologize, Stevie and Joe. I forget the date. But you can still buy raffle tickets right now. You can buy a ticket for $10. You can buy 5 tickets for $48. And the last count I heard was in the high 40s. It may even be in the low 50s now. That's how many packages we win. Guys, they've collected about $4,000 for Jason Brown's family, and I would dare to say that the amount of stuff donated is exceeding the amount of money we've collected. And with that many packages, the chance to win, if they've only, so that means there's been 400 tickets sold, and right at, Stevie just said it, 47 prize packages. Guys, one of those prize packages is a Jason Grant gripper production, a Jason Grant gripper prototype, and a Jason Grant gripper custom. That's $1,200-$1,500, and those aren't being split up. That's in one package. For a $10 raffle ticket, that is huge. And I've said before, and I'll say it again. If you've only got the money to participate in one thing this year, make it that. Knives Live would be just fine. But so yeah, we got that coming up, and then we got Knives Live just a few days later. In case you don't know how that works with Knives Live, you for every $10 you donate to Knife Rights, you get it's kind of like a raffle ticket. But if you buy a yearly membership, which is $35, you get 4 entries into the giveaway. The giveaway packages last year were mind-blowing, to be honest. And not only that, if you hang around and you watch each 1 hour slot, everybody that has a slot is doing a giveaway. And for anybody that has a slot and don't have a knife to give away, just holler at us. We'll get you a knife to give away. So that's 24 chances to win at a minimum, because a lot of people are going to have guests who are also going to do giveaways, or at least they did last year. So a minimum of 24 chances to win for absolutely free, just for being there. And then, the grand prize drawing will be 2 weeks later. We're going to run it for 2 weeks later because of the Jason Brown raffle. We usually run it for a couple of weeks beforehand, but we didn't want them to interfere with one another. So up to 2 weeks after Knives Live airs, you'll have a chance to donate to Knife Rights. When you do, Knife Rights will email you a receipt, because it is tax deductible. And what you'll do is just email that receipt to an email address that Mr. John Evans has. I apologize, I don't have it handy with me, but and that's how he'll enter you on the spreadsheet for the giveaway.
Well, so do me a favor, man. Shoot me all that info, and I'll be glad to shout all of it out. Okay. I'll do a giveaway. I'll probably give away like a Work Tough gear and something else.
To be honest, we haven't promoted it as much prior to the live this year as we did last year, because I don't want to think that that we took $1 away from Nora Brown and Sarah Brown. So
send me that info too. Send me the Jason Brown stuff.
Okay.
And I'll be glad to shout. Because I want to do something. I'll get a ticket, but if I can shout it out, if I can help in any way, send me that info and we'll get it done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
and glad to do it. And now I got to be up in 4.5 hours. Thanks, Shane. So
Sorry about that, man.
no, man, I'm glad. Thank you for having me on. I enjoyed it. We've talked for an hour and it's blown by.
Yeah, that's usually about how long I run, for an hour. I may go a little bit after you get off it, but I know you're a hardworking man, so
We do what we can.
that's right. You say bye to everybody and get you some rest. And Scab, I really appreciate you coming on, man.
Hey, man, thanks. Hey, guys, listen. I appreciate y'all hanging out. Appreciate y'all listening. Again, if you're a content creator, feel free to come over to my channel, Choir Boys Cutlery Outdoors, and just say, hey, Scab, I got a channel, and we'll do everything we can to help you out and get it going.
Yeah.
Shane, I appreciate you, brother. Love you.
Scab, I want to say one more thing before you go. Guys, y'all know how horrible I am at technology. So Stevie, would you message Scab the information on the raffle? And Javon, would you message Scab the links on Knives Live? Because I don't want to screw that up. They're way better at that kind of thing than I am. So be looking for that coming from them.
I'll do it. And if y'all want to reach out to me on Instagram, do that. But guys, hey, I love y'all. Good night, Miss Stacy. Good night. Thank y'all for hanging out. Shane, thank you again, brother. Love you. And I'll catch y'all later. Have a good one, man.
You too. Now, guys, I do want to say one thing. I'm sitting here a little bit nervous. And I want to tell you why. Mr. Patina Turner has started this thing in the Discord where he likes to take clips from my lives and take certain parts that are fairly embarrassing. So all night tonight I've been sitting here thinking about what I was about to say before I mess up and give Patina Turner some more ammunition to make fun of me. Not that I care, man. It's hilarious. Sometimes I don't realize some of the I already got one. Sometimes I don't realize the things that come out of my mouth. There's probably another one right there. Anyway, man, I really appreciate you guys hanging out, man. And you know, this it's not easy. You know, it can be tough to sit there and stare at the phone and have a conversation. But I've been kind of reading you guys' comments anyway. I haven't been responding to them that much, but you guys have had a hilarious comment thread going on now, so it's awesome. It's awesome to see, you know, people that I care about and people that I love come support me and show up for my lives. I know they're not always as interesting as they could be, but was one thing I wanted to talk about. This knife that I just recently got from Chaz. You know, everybody knows Chaz. He's always in the comments. I got this S110V Mannix, and I will say this: this was the worst edge I've ever experienced on a Spyderco. And you know, Chaz said it was unused, and I believe him. It just wasn't a very sharp edge, so I decided to sharpen it. The steel removal was as easy as anything else I've ever done. Don't let anybody lie to you about how hard S110V is to sharpen, because it's not. You know, as far as getting my apex, creating a burr, all that was as easy as anything else I've done. However, you got to remove the burr on S110V. It is a little difficult. What I mean by that is if you sharpen 14C, you know, you create a burr, 4 or 5 passes on the strop, the burr's gone. It's not the case with the S110. You really do have to fatigue that burr. What I mean by that is whether it's ceramic or whether you're using your final stone, you know, you want to pull the knife away from the edge, you know, one pass and just keep swapping back and forth, and back and forth before you ever get that thing to snap off. And it's so sharp that I actually laid the knife on my leg to change stones or something, and the edge wasn't touching my skin, but when I picked it up, the burr actually cut my leg open. So it's you know, if you ever get to sharpen some S110V, just prepare yourself for an extra 10 minutes worth of fatiguing the burr to get it come off, but get it to come off. You know, so yeah. But guys, I guess that's gonna be it, man. I really appreciate you guys showing up, man, but I've got to get some rest too. I promise I'll try to do a live one night when I get a little more comfortable where, you know, I communicate more with the chat, but you know, I do what I can. But anyway, thanks a million, guys. I really appreciate y'all being here. Y'all know I appreciate any amount of time y'all spend with me. Peace. Love y'all.